Well, good morning, everyone. It's right at 10:30, so we want to go ahead and get started. My name is Valerie Edgeworth, and I am the Workforce and Adult Services Consultant here at the Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. And today's training is on KET Community and Learning Resources. We are extremely excited for our presenters today. We have 4 of them, and so I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves as we go through today's training. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and type those in the chat box. I have a colleague of mine here, Amy, and I will be reviewing the chat pod, so don't hesitate to ask any questions. And to allow maximum time, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to our first presenter, Amanda.
Good morning. My name is Amanda Wright. I am the Director for Early Childhood Education at KET. Thank you all for having us today. We're really excited to share with you about KET's resources. We have resources from early childhood all the way through adult education. So we'll be covering all of those topics today, just giving you a brief overview of some of the things that we offer, and you're more than welcome to contact us at a later date to find out more details about things, and of course ask questions in the chat box today. What I really wanted to share with you today is about our Ready to Learn grant. The Ready to Learn grant is from the U.S. Department of Education in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. It promotes early childhood and school readiness, and it really strives to reach low-income families. We are currently in the 5th year of our 5-year grant, and this is the 5th round of the Ready to Learn grant. We're hoping for future funding for that grant because it provides a lot of really great information, a lot of great resources for children and families and educators across our state and across our nation. And the grant really looks at innovation in using media with children and families. So we're really excited about sharing some of those resources we've been working on in the last 5 years with you. The Ready to Learn grant this year has focused on STEM and informational technology. We have the Cat in the Hat knows a lot about that. It's really focused on children ages 3 to 5. It looks at science inquiry. In the fall, Eleanor Wonders Why will be debuting. This looks like an adorable program with lots of really great inquiry resources that will come out of it. Again, it is targeted to children ages 3 to 5 and focuses on science inquiry. Ready Jet Go is a program from PBS Kids that's been around for just a little while, but with the Ready to Learn grant has refocused on earth and space sciences. Again, the science inquiry is really the foundation for the information shared through Ready Jet Go. We also have Ruff Ruffman. You may recognize Ruff Ruffman from many years ago. He's really made a comeback with the Ready to Learn grant, very much focused on science inquiry, and is targeted to children and families ages 4 to 8. The newest resource from the Ready to Learn grant that just launched in July is Molly of Denali. Molly is a native Alaskan. She is the first and only native Alaskan child to be featured in an animated program on television. And they've really taken a great deal of effort to make sure that Molly really honors the native Alaskan traditions while infusing informational text throughout the program. It's received lots of great feedback. My 8-year-old loves it, so I hope you will check it out and all of the resources that go along with that. Again, Molly is targeted to children with ages 4 to 8. It's focused on literacy and really highlighting informational text. So with the Ready to Learn grant, over the last 5 years, resources have been created, and we at KET have been piloting these resources through the grant very specifically in Eastern Kentucky and then Louisville. However, now that we're entering year 5, we are really looking to take these resources across the state and share them with educators and families across Kentucky. Some of the resources that have come out of the Ready to Learn grant are very much family-centered. Those include our PBS Kids Family and Community Learning Workshops. We'll talk a little bit more about this in just a minute, but these are a workshop series of 4 nights. Families come together and learn and get really hands-on. They're really engaging and interactive and include a lot of video from PBS Kids. and talking with families about how to use video appropriately with their children. Our child center content includes our camps. These are intended as day camps and are really focused on children ages 5 to 8. And then we also have a lot of professional development that has come out of this. We'll show you or talk a little bit about the teaching tips from Boston University. There are also PBS teacher line courses that are available. And then our in-person, face-to-face trainings that are available are called Playful Learning for Educators. These are super fun workshops, very engaging, very hands-on. We have done these with all kinds of folks across the state, from preschool teachers, child care providers, even some librarians in Louisville. So be happy to talk with you more about that as well. Very specifically, our family and community learning workshops, they are a series of 4 workshops. They are targeted for children and families ages 3 to 5 or 5 to 8 with their families. And this is for the entire family. When we say the entire family, we mean the entire family. We want younger brothers and sisters, older brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents, the whole family to come and really enjoy and engage in these workshops. They encourage play and learning together while building those early science skills. We currently have 6 available or in pilot, so that means they'll be very shortly appearing on PBS Learning Media where you have free access to them. We have PBS Kids Scratch Junior. This is an early coding app, and an entire SCL has been built around this PBS Kids Scratch Junior coding app. Rough Ruffman, again, really focuses on science inquiry and the engineering design process, along with our PBS Kids Play and Learn Science FCL. The Play and Learn Science FCL is really targeted for a little bit younger audience, really looking at our preschool-age children, as well as the Cat in the Hat knows a lot about that. This past summer, we really piloted our Ready, Jet, Go FCL and had lots of fun. And then we are in the process right now of piloting the Molly of Denali. So those 2 will be available within the next few months on PBS Learning Media. One of the pilot locations that we did well, you can find all of these resources at pbslearningmedia.org/ready-to-learn. If you want to check them out, they're in the educator resources. You can find them there, and if you have any questions, pass them along, or you can always contact me at K10. I'd be happy to talk through those with you. But as I was mentioning a minute ago, we have piloted several of our resources at libraries across the state, but I want to talk to you specifically about some of the work that we've done in Louisville. We started out at the Okolona Library, which now really encompasses the South Central branch of the library there. And we started with our PBS Kids Scratch Junior workshop. This was our very first FCL that we did. We learned a lot from that FCL. Their community room was only available on Wednesday nights. We now know that Wednesday nights are, even though we suspected, definitely knew Wednesday night was not a great night for a family workshop. But live and learn. Really what I want you to know about the FCLs, the Family Community Learning Workshops, is that they're really designed for use in communities. These are have facilitators guides that go along with them so that if you were to implement them, you have tips and tricks that we've learned as we've piloted these resources across the state and across the nation. There are 30 stations across the nation that have piloted these resources. So they've really kind of run into every situation and really figured out what works, what doesn't work, and tips to help you make these successful. Again, as I mentioned, they are multi-generational. They've really thought about including the youngest to the oldest members of the family, giving you tips and suggestions about how to incorporate those family members into the workshops. They're very hands-on. It's a really great opportunity for families to come together to give themselves the permission to take time out and play and learn and enjoy together. So you can see the quote here at the bottom. It said, "I like learning with my child instead of her telling me or me telling her." we learn together. And that's really what these FCLs encompass, is families learning together. We also piloted a camp at the South Central branch in Louisville. It was a great spot to really test this product out to see how it was going to work. We found that libraries already have existing relationships with children and families, so they make the perfect partner for us to pilot these and then for these to be used in your settings. They are perfect because they have a spot for families. The camps are really targeted to children alone. This is a standalone child-centered activity, but you know, a lot of families maybe aren't comfortable leaving their child, so there's a spot for families to hang out and do the things that they need to do while their child is learning and having fun with Rough Roughman. These resources are very flexible. You can take them and make them work the best way that fits your needs and your community's needs. One thing that we found out when we piloted this was that, you know, the library may be open late during the week, Monday through Thursday, but Friday nights it closed early. And so we had to make an exception that evening because it was a pilot. But, you know, it's very flexible. You could only do a 4-day camp if that's what made sense for you. You could spread these resources over, you know, once a week for 4 weeks or five weeks. So these resources are very, very flexible. You can even take pieces and parts out of them just for you know, an afternoon, you know, activity. In fact, that's what the South Central Library did. After piloting the Rough Roughman camp, they really wanted to use more of this content and more of this material for their STEM summer reading activities. So we met with them, and we're available to do this with you as well. And kind of brainstorm ideas. How could this work in my library? What would it look like if we wanted to do this activity? What they came up with is they had 2 stations, and they had one group, and then they flip-flopped it, and the other group got to do each of the stations. Another really great thing about these resources, as they've been created, they really have looked at ways to make these, the materials needed, either free, cheap, or very, very easily accessible. A lot of cereal boxes and coffee, you know, the Folgers plastic coffee cup tins, and just really, really cheap and easy accessible materials. You know, these are just some really great resources, like I said, that we found have worked really well in libraries across our state, especially in Louisville and Eastern Kentucky, where we've piloted them. The other thing that I don't have a slide for you all today, but I do want to share with you, and we can get that information out to you later. KET did launch our new texting service. It's called Bright by Text. This is a free texting service for children with families with children prenatally all the way up through age 8. Families will receive 2 to 3 text messages a week. And those messages are about brain development, health, nutrition, behavior, but also local messages. When families sign up, the only pieces of information that we ask for are the age of their child or children, and then their zip code. So they also families could receive messages locally. So if your library, you know, local library was having a story hour, you may get something sent to you because you're in a particular zip code. The thing with this is that we need subscribers to get those messages out. So we do have postcards and bookmarks available. If you're interested, you can contact me, and we can get some of those mailed out to you. Again, if you're looking to sign up for that, it's our Bright by Text service, and you would text KET Kids to 274-448. You know, I'd be happy to talk with you more about that. KET Early Childhood does lots of other things. We come out and do events. We, you know, are happy to talk with you if you're planning something and looking for, you know, someone to set up a table. We do a lot of teacher professional development, and so just lots of really great things that we can work with you in your communities with. So that's all I have right now for early childhood. I'm passing it on over to my colleague, Amy.
Thank you, Amanda, so much. And again, if you've got any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. I have a feeling that we have so much information today. We may get questions later or have future conversations. So we're just really, really excited about this. So thank you again, Amanda. I am shifting our screen here now. And if you'll bear with me for just one moment, we are going to switch to some internet resources for our next section. It will take just a moment for that to load. And Amy, I will let you go ahead and introduce yourself and get started.
Hi, good morning. My name is Amy Bradshaw, and I am one of 6 K-12 education consultants for KET. As education consultants, we are here to provide free resources to support teachers and students in the classroom. We will do workshops on PBS learning media, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. I know Amanda mentioned it. And then the tools there, we do digital fluency, media literacy, video production, and also some media arts workshops. For example, stop motion animation, iMovie editing, green screen, that sort of thing. So we do all of those workshops with teachers, but also with students. When we do them with teachers, we focus more on how-to and applications for classroom use. Of course, when we do them with students, we focus more on the how-to. But before we get into PBS Learning Media real quick, this is our education homepage. You just go to ket.org/education, and up in the right-hand corner, it says Contact KET Education. So if you click on that, it will show you a map of the regions and all the education consultants for those regions. So if you are in the yellow, that is the Southeast region, and that is my region. If you're in the green, that is the West region, and that would be Amy Grant. Larry Moore is in the purple in the North Central region. Kathy Davis is the South Central region in the blue. Lynn Schaefer is the Northeastern region in the orange, and Cynthia Warner is our Central region, which is the red bow, right there in the middle of Kentucky. So if you want to contact us after today, that's an easy way to do it. So we are going to go back. Can I go back?
Yes, you can go back. Should be fine. Yeah, you're good. Yay, it worked.
I want to go back to the education homepage. You'll see that there's an early childhood, K-12, and adult education section. So those are all the people that are present here today, and we'll be talking about resources. But if you wanted a quick overview or want to get a hold of somebody, then you can go to those buttons and find what you need. And I just want to point out on the homepage, again, you've got early childhood, K-12, adult education on the sidebar. And then we've got some of our special resources that we're highlighting. Right now we've got the Young Writers Contest going on. So kindergarten through high school. It is open to all students. So you can click there and get a little more information about that. It's always fun to go and hand out the prizes for that. So please sign up and submit. We also have the 24/7 KET PBS Kids channel, Careers in Demand, Arts Toolkit, Art to Heart, the Media Lab Workshop, and several others. And then as you scroll down, you've got recent news, and then you can go down here and here's some featured resources also. STEMworks, this is our resource book. And then if you go on down, you've got the KET PD self-paced courses for teachers. So if teachers are lacking like 3 hours of professional development, that's a good place for them to go on. Most of them are free. They can do it on their own time, and they are KDE approved. So I would just run it by the administrator, but let them know they are KDE approved, and they can just get them sitting at home on the couch in their pajamas. So now I'm going to go back up, and we're going to go to Explore PBS Learning Media. You would click that button, and it brings you to this page. PBS Learning Media is a resource of over 100,000 resources. It's a collection of over 100,000 resources for teachers and students to use. It is, there are resources in every content area and every grade level, and they are all safe and vetted. You don't have to worry about pop-up videos. You don't have to worry about pop-up ads that might be inappropriate. And the contributors are KET and other PBS stations across the nation, as well as respected educational resources like NOVA and NASA, that sort of thing. So, so it's just a really great resource. And if you go here where it says Amy, it'll ask you to log in if you haven't before. I would highly suggest that you log in because you won't be able to use it to its fullest unless you create an account. And the good thing about it is you can create an account with your Google account, so you don't have to remember another password and sign in. And also, if you go to the bottom of the page, it says student, click here. So students will click there and it'll go to this page, and they will also be asked to sign in, and they can also create accounts with their Google account, so they don't have to remember a bunch of stuff. But PBS Learning Media is a great place for teachers to find resources for their classrooms, but it's also a really great place for students to do research for their projects. And so just a brief overview, there are several different ways that you can search for resources. You can go by standard. That is not my favorite. I don't think it's the most efficient, but you can use that one. And you can narrow it down by grade. But this is my favorite way. Just click on subject, and you've got all the content areas and all of the different strands underneath the content areas. So if I'm going to do social studies and I want civics and government, you can tell here with no other parameters, just civics and government, there are 1,117 videos. And then you can go on, there are 17 interactive lessons, 77 interactives, so games and stuff, and so you get a lot of information. So you might not want to go through 1,117 videos. So you could also narrow it down by the topics within civics. So let's do political science and theory. And then under that, you can narrow it down again by theory of laws and rights. And now we come down to 32. You can narrow it down by type. You've got video, interactive lessons, interactives, lesson plans, media gallery, audio, image, document, web page, and collection. So we have quite a few different types of resources. You can sort by grade, but I would not put too much faith in that, because some of the resources that say are only good for high school are actually, the concepts are actually taught in 4th or 5th grade, and they're absolutely appropriate for 4th or 5th grade too. And vice versa, it'll say, you know, 4th or 5th grade lesson, but it's also good for high school. So what you should do is really just look at the content yourself and focus on the needs of your students and find one that suits. And so we are here, and we've got 32 videos. So I'm going to click on this one. Let's say I really like it. I've looked at it. I really like it. You can share it to Google Classrooms with just a click of a button. So you can have your students look at it, view it, and answer questions. And there are support materials. Most of the resources come with great support materials. There's follow-up activites, there's student activities, teacher activities. It shows you the standards. So a lot of them have lesson plans and that sort of thing that go with the video. So there's just some great support materials, and then as I mentioned, the standards are also shown there. So let's say you really like this, You want to favorite it. This is why you need to log in and sign up for an account. You want to favorite. The heart is colored in. You favorited it. Then you would go up to your name and you would go to favorites. This is going to take a minute. I think I threw it off.
That's all right. We're doing great.
So there it is in my favorites. Now, if I'm planning a specific unit and I want to put that in a unit folder, I can. Just select it, add the folder, and then put it in my social studies folder, save updates. And it tells you right here it's in one folder. So if you put it in multiple folders, it'll tell you which ones they're in. And then if I go up here and I go down to folders, and then I go to my social studies folder somewhere. I need to clean out my folders. You've got view folder, and there are the resources that are in that folder. So it's super easy. This is a great way to collaborate with other teachers. So if you want to work on one particular type of lesson or unit, they can work on another unit, and you guys can share. So there's that. And also, we're not going to get into it today, but I wanted to show you that up here under your name, it says Tools. We have Lesson Builder, Storyboard, Quizmaker, and Puzzle Builder. Lesson Builder is an excellent resource for teachers and students, but it's a way for students to provide research through an electronic board where they can share information with websites, videos, their own stuff they created. They can upload to them from their computer, so it's just a really great way for kids to present their research. And that is all I'm going to show you, but I would like to remind you that we provide free professional development. We come to schools, we work with teachers, we work with students. We can come during school or after school. We frequently get requests to spend the day at a school and work with teachers during their PLC groups. But we also will come to STLP events, parent nights, career days, back to school events, regional meetings. So anywhere there's a need for us, we will be there. And we really just want to be a support to all the teachers. And I do want to mention again that our workshops are Kentucky Department of Education approved for PD and EILA credit. So we're just happy to help you in any way we can. And if you have any other questions or would like to set up a consult, just contact your education consultant.
Thank you, Amy. That was wonderful. And we are going to, for the sake of time, continue to move on. While I transition us back here real quick, bear with me one moment as I transition to our next two presenters, and I am going to allow them to introduce themselves as well. Again, this is so wonderful and so much information. We are so excited that we could do this today. So Beth and Sarah, I'm going to turn the time over to you.
Thank you and good morning. This is Beth Gauntz. I am the Director of the Workplace Essential Skills course development at KET, and we'll give you a little overview of what that's like in a few moments. But I will let my colleague Sarah talk about Fast Forward first.
Sure, I'm Sarah Wilkins, also with KET. I'm the Director of Adult Education and Workforce Training. And just like the rest of my colleagues, just want to thank you all for being with us today. We hope to provide you with an overview of our services, and then we're happy to go more in depth or answer questions afterwards. So we want to start with an introduction to adult education, and we have a video for you. that I think we'll play now.
Yes,
On
what we're going to do
Okay.
for the attendees is I will be loading the links into the chat pod. The majority of these, the ones I will be loading are YouTube links. We are asking that you go take a moment, go ahead and click the link that I'm putting up. It's just a couple minutes long, and then come back in the chat pod and let us know when you've watched that video, okay? And then we'll move forward. So take just I think it's 2 minutes. Click on that link, watch the video. Okay, you should have had enough time to go ahead and look at that video, so I'm going to turn it back over to Beth.
Thank you, Valerie.
So as you saw on the video, there are some costs, economic cost, as well as cost to the individual of dropping out. And some data that we've been able to collect shows that 15% of working age Kentucky adults have less than a high school education. 19 million Americans do not have a high school diploma. 1 in 5 dropouts is unemployed, and dropouts will earn 73 cents for every dollar earned by a graduate. Across a lifetime, a dropout earns 60% of what a graduate earns. 3 in 5 dropouts live in low-income families, and 3 in 8 dropouts receive public assistance. Now, KET's role in this is that we are a national leader. We are the largest nonprofit GED education publisher in the country, and we've been providing GED prep tools nationwide for over 40 years. Some of you may remember the GED on TV series, or some of you may not be aware that KET publishes GED materials at all. You may know us more for Downton Abbey or Doc Martin. We have our prep product is called Fast Forward. As I said, we used to offer GED on TV, but in 2014, the GED test became a computer-based test, and we felt it was important then to prepare learners using the methods that they would need to use to take the test. So our online prep curriculum, Fast Forward, is used in 48 states, several territories, and Canadian provinces. We have a Dropping Back In 5-part series about people who dropped out and returned to earn their GED, and that series is broadcast on PBS stations nationwide. We also have an online product that Beth will be describing for you shortly called Workplace Essential Skills. Workplace Essential Skills was the first instructional media-based series to comprehensively address workforce needs. It offers contextualized math and language arts lessons so that they make sense in the context of the workforce. Currently, Workplace Essential Skills has been used by, oh, my slide just flipped. 176 public broadcasting stations in more than 2,000 adult learning institutions, and by 60% of federal prisons in state and federal correctional facilities. And I do want to clarify there that that is the correctional facilities, and these stats are based on our workplace essential skills before it became an online product. So the online iteration is our newest offering of workplace essential skills. So we'll talk a little bit about Fast Forward, our GED prep. Now, many of the in fact, all of the resources that we've been discussing this morning are offered free. I do want to be completely transparent and say that Fast Forward is a product that we sell. It is sold for cost in Kentucky, and it's sold by the SEAT, which offers preparation for all 4 subject areas in the GED: language arts, math, science, and social studies. Fast Forward is aligned to Common Core state standards, college and career readiness standards, and the TABE 1112. It's approved prep for all 3 high school equivalency assessments. You know, here in Kentucky, we just use the GED, but a couple of years ago, some other prep systems entered the market, the HiSET and the TASC, and all 3 of these are now recognized as high school equivalency prep credentials. However, states have some jurisdiction to determine which ones that they use. And as I said, Kentucky is a GED state. Fast Forward offers customized study plans, instructions, videos, interactives, and opportunities to practice, which we'll demonstrate a few here shortly. And 90% of the Fast Forward test takers have been shown to earn a GED credential. Now, we know that many of you don't offer GED classes in your locations, but if you are working in conjunction with a local adult ed center or in some sort of a partnership, this is useful information for you to know. And in addition, I believe I learned recently that some locations are now GED Test Centers.
Yes, there are 3 libraries that are currently GED testing centers. There are 4 more who are in various stages of planning and exploring. We also just completed 2 webinars recently, and they're available on the archived webinars page on how to become a GED testing center as a public library. And we will have an additional webinar in April with the 3 that are currently testing centers to give you all a chance to talk with them one-on-one via webinar about their experience being a GED testing center.
Wonderful, wonderful. So with that, at some point you may want to consider having Fast Forward available at your site. We know that many times adult learners will come to the library, perhaps with their littles, and that gives them some time to work on their own educational goals. So if you want more information about how that might work, we'll be happy to talk with you about it in a future conversation. Some of the features, as we mentioned, are the interactive lessons that meet diverse learning styles, and we'll demo some of those, the videos and some of the instruction. It has numerous practice questions. Fast Forward is self-paced, so learners can use it at home. Like Amy said, on the couch in their pajamas to study, but we also find that many adult education teachers like to use it because of the online gradebook feature and the opportunity to assign lessons and to track student progress even when students are not in the center. It has accessibility features such as text-to-speech with a translate feature and a customizable background color. So if it's difficult for people to look on a stark white background, there are ways to change that and make it a little easier on the eyes. There's also a pretest for every subject, so students can learn what they do well and focus in on the lessons that they really need to study. This is an image of a lesson plan. You can see that where a student has taken a pretest. The lesson there at the top in green font, positive and negative integers, means that has been assigned by the test. So the pretest has flagged this as a skill that the student needs to improve. The following 3 lessons in the black font, the student passed on the test. And the ones in blue are the ones that teachers can assign, because even though the test is pretty good, sometimes teachers know their students even better and will say, you still need to spend a little time on fractions. So teachers have an opportunity to assign lessons as well. As I mentioned before, there are ample opportunities for assessment, including pre-tests, lesson reviews, topic reviews, post-test, and practice tests. All of these are recorded in the online gradebook, and learners can take them multiple times as the gradebook will grab and hold the highest score. This is what a course looks like. You can see, hopefully on your screen, a pre-test at the top, the study plan that has been generated, and in this case, the topic is United States history. The lessons are listed underneath. And here are some of the features that we discussed earlier. Lots of arrows in the left-hand corner there, lots of helps with a formula sheet, an online calculator that actually works, a highlighting tool to highlight text that they want to focus some time on, background color, screen color change, the reader, of course, the text-to-speech reader, which will highlight the section of text that is being read and then each individual word as it is being read. This is so helpful for so many of our learners. We find that, sometimes it's daunting to be faced with a large amount of text on a page, and sometimes our learners don't really know how to move their eyes across the page to read, and yet the screen reader will highlight and move along and really help them improve that skill. There's also a translate feature, as I mentioned, and a dictionary. You'll also notice on this page that there is not a huge amount of text. We tried to break the text up into manageable chunks and just have more screens so that learners were not faced with a lot of scrolling. And here's some examples of the various activities with multiple choice questions, drag and drop, drop down. If you are not familiar with the GED test, these are all question types that they will face on the GED test. So again, we wanted to give them a study experience that mimicked the GED test experience as much as possible. And now we have a video for you.
I just loaded the second video, Evaluate Expressions by Substitution. Again, it's another 2-minute video, so we're going to take a 2-minute break, allow you all to watch that, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, we're going to get started again.
So the video you just saw was presented by an actual adult education teacher from Kentucky. We invited several teachers to come to our studios and teach short lessons just like the one that you just saw, and those lessons are included in Fast Forward. What you're seeing on the screen now is an example of an interactive activity so learners can get an idea of what it looks like in an example to see something cubed. And we also have print resources available because we know workbooks continue to be a favorite for teachers and learners alike. Our basic series on the left are for those learners at the pre-GED level, and the ones on the right, the Skills for Success, are for those who need to brush up on skills just a little bit before attempting the GED test. And now Beth will tell you about Workplace Essential Skills.
Thank you, Sarah. Workplace Essential Skills is a group of online courses. The content is 7th to 9th grade, but it's formatted for secondary and adult learners. And there's also a soft skills course that goes along with it. All of the content is contextualized to one of 7 different high employment need industries. Like Fast Forward, this is a product that we sell. A person or a learning center could buy a number of licenses for a year, and as soon as one student finishes with a course, put a different person in at no additional cost. Or students can sign up individually. Because they're mobile friendly and can be used on any device with internet connectivity. The library is a nice place to offer them a working environment, and they'll have their own login, they'll have their own link, and they can come and sit down and work on the courses on site if they so chose. The courses are aligned to college and career readiness standards, to the National Career Readiness Certificate, and to GED assessment targets. The content, of course, is available 24/7 because it's available through the internet when the learner wants to work. And we're proud to announce that we just won a national award from the National Education Telecommunications Association. It's sort of our PBS professional association in the category of educational resources for the community. These are the 7 industries plus soft skills. So if a person was taking the math course and they had an interest in construction, they would sign up for the construction version. And all of the practice activities, the interviews that we do to provide some relevancy, the games, they all relate back to the construction industry. Soft skills is not, however, contextualized. As in Fast Forward, we have a pretest and a study plan. I won't go too deeply into this because it works the same way, but it allows a student to concentrate on what they don't know rather than what they already know. Math has 5 units, 5 lessons, and language arts has 3 writing lessons and 2 reading lessons. We always give the students an indication of what's coming up in our big ideas. Those are the goals for the lessons. And the page, as you see, looks much the same. Because we contextualize the content, there are a lot of authentic documents, as you see here. We have a maintenance record, and the student is asked to do a little bit of reading and then use the maintenance record to answer questions in this case. We have pretest lesson reviews, which are like quizzes, and post-tests. When students pass the lesson reviews, there are badges that they earn and a way to collect those badges to use later. And if they score a 90% or better on the post-test, they are provided a link to a certificate of completion, which they can put in their professional portfolio. I'm going to play this one for you, and we won't probably play the whole thing, but I want you to get an idea of what the instructional videos in the course are like.
If using addition to solve a problem is like riding a bike, then multiplication can be like driving a race car. It can really make finding an answer much faster. This is especially true if you have to add the same number over and over again. Multiplication can save you a lot of time because it's just a shortcut for repeated addition. Suppose you're the coach of your daughter's softball team, which has 15 players. The team sponsor wants to buy uniforms for the team that cost $32 each, but needs to know what the cost will be. Multiplication can help you figure out the total cost. First, set up the problem making certain the place values of each number are aligned. Then multiply the numbers in the right column. 2 times 5 equals 10. So write a 0 in the ones place and a 1 over the tens column to show that the 10 ones are now 110. Then multiply the 2 times the 1 at the top of the tens column to get 2, and add the 1 that was regrouped to the tens column to get 3. Next, multiply the 3 at the bottom of the tens column with the 5 at the top of the ones column. The answer is 15 tens. Write the 5 in the tens place and regroup the 1. You can add a 0 to
that was one of the instructional videos that we have in the course. They always start with a little bit of context, and then there's a very visual way of showing how problems are worked. The content in the course will explain that in writing also, but we know that some students would prefer to watch or to listen, and this helps us meet that goal. We're going to give you another video link. This is from our soft skills course, and I believe it's on punctuality. We won't give you enough time to watch the whole thing, but at least to get a good idea of what kind of soft skills content we're sharing. Thank you. We want to also show you one where we have what we call relevance videos. We have been all over the country interviewing workers about how do they actually use math in the workplace. And so this particular video will...
This is video number 5. We have this one here.
No, actually, it's number 6.
It's the number 6. Okay.
Yeah.
We will load that right now. Construction, multiplication, and
Yes.
addition. Okay.
This is from the construction course, and it's a good way to see how we are mixing in interviews with live workers to help our students be inspired. We also have some games in the course. In every industry, we have a fractions game, which has imagery that comes from the specific industry. In this case, it's a transportation game, and when you correctly simplify a fraction, then a box will pop into the truck, and so the goal is to load the truck up with boxes as you go. On the right, the image is our reading game, which is in the following instructions lesson, and it's a flow chart from the industry, and the students have to read the information, the background information, and the flow chart and make decisions as they go. The one on the bottom is our writing game, and the students are given different kinds of writing documents to complete, and they get choices as they go, everything from grammar to appropriate audience, to just choosing the right order to organize your writing in. In addition, we have a teacher toolkit that's in the course, which shows uh, PD options, some best practice videos, suggestions on classroom activities, and all of the alignments. And we'll talk about PBS learning media again in just one moment because that is such a important and extensive resource. And then if this is taking place, if a student has enrolled via a learning center of some kind, there are reports that the teacher or guidance person can pull on activity and time on task. Just like in early childhood and K through 12, there are many resources in PBS learning media for adult education. KET has a nice collection there under the title Work Ready. You have to click the little button that says Collection and Work Ready. And some of the videos that we have in the courses are there, along with some other items that we have developed or collected over the years in the workforce area. Here you can see a few examples. You see some items from our soft skills course, but also then from other collections as well. Just quickly, I want to show you my contact information there, Beth Gauntz, and then our Director of Education at KET, Tanya Crum, and I will turn this back over to Valerie.
Okay, and we have a couple additional slides here with contact information for Amanda and Sarah, your contact information on there as well. Amy provided the link as to where everyone could contact their K through 12 individual for their region. So at this point, I do want to go ahead and shift over to our closing screen here. We want to give a shout out to the Institute of Museum and Library Services for sponsoring our webinar today. Again, we are recording this training and it will be available on our archived webinars page within 1 week. We encourage you to share that with your colleagues. And again, you can reach any of our archived webinars on that page. If you aren't already following us on social media, we do encourage you to do so. If you did not get the handout or had trouble with the handout via email, that is available there for download as well. And I'm going to go ahead and open up our survey link here. This will open another screen for you. If you could complete that survey, we always greatly appreciate that. That feedback is crucial and vital to our continued funding. And I would just want to say thank you again to KET and for allowing all of you to come here today and to present. And just a quick reminder to library staff and library land, you should receive your certificate of completion within 1 week. If you have any questions, we can stick around for a few more moments. Happy to do so and answer any questions. And we hope you all have a good rest of the day. Thanks, everyone.